Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing this correctly. I'm reviewing Monday Night Raw once again. This episode, September 28th, 2020, wasn't too bad. Now, the night after Clash of Champions, this Raw show, what would they do? How would they build up Hell in a Cell? What storylines would they progress? What would WWE do? Well, for starters, the big talking point, in my opinion, is the return of Robertrood. This came in the main event, where we had Drew McIntyre doing an open challenge. That was the big thing to keep you hooked on this show. Who would Drew McIntyre's opponent be? Now, a lot of people on Twitter predicted Robertrood. Personally, I had no clue who they'd pick. I really thought they'd go with someone like Dolph Ziggler, because this is WWE, they do that kind of stuff, but they went with Robertrood instead. Personally, the match was good. I enjoyed the match. I thought Robertrood and Drew McIntyre, it wasn't as good as their TakeOver matches. Like, these two guys at NXT TakeOver back in 2017 had a much better match than this, but it's a Raw TV main event. You can't really expect too much. Drew McIntyre obviously retained, so that was the main event. That's like the big talking point. If you didn't see anything from the show, that match is what you need to see. And as for the rest of the show, the ending is another talking point. Essentially what happened is, on this show, the opening segment, and what they advertised coming into the show, was Ric Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels would all show up on Raw and coronate or talk to Drew McIntyre. So that was the opening segment. That opening segment didn't really progress too much. Basically, those guys all came out. McIntyre came in the ring, had a personal interaction with all of them, and then Randy Orton came on the Titantron and said that, you know, he's going to put McIntyre through hell. In other words, they're going to have a Hell in a Cell match, basically. So, yeah, McIntyre, Orton is going ahead for Hell in a Cell. Presumably, they furthered the build tonight. So, yeah, that's going to be the title match. Do I care? Yeah, McIntyre and Orton, they've done some amazing work this year. They're the best main event you can do on Raw in Hell in a Cell. I think Orton putting over McIntyre at Hell in a Cell makes sense. So, that was the main event. And then they finished the show with Randy Orton in like a cleaner janitor outfit, walking into the Raw arena. So he walks in just as a cleaner, and then proceeds to take his mask off, and then walk into the Legends locker room as they're playing cards, and just destroy them. Like, he turns the lights off, he's wearing like night vision glasses, then he just beats them up and destroys them. The lights come back on and everything's like destroyed, and Orton's just there kind of sinisterly laughing. Then Orton leaves, puts the cleaner outfit back on and leaves. So that was Monday Night Raw, like the main event storyline. So we got Robertrood returning, we got Randy Orton assaulting Legends, we got Drew McIntyre retaining his title. So that stuff was good. That's like the main thing you should care about. The rest of the show, not really a lot to say. Like, a lot of just rematches. That's the kind of general feeling from this show. Like, we had the Hurt Business in 6-man tag team action against Apollo Crews, Mustafa Ali, and Ricochet. If that sounds familiar, it is, because we've seen it for the last like 4 months. Like, I barely cared about that match. Like, the Hurt Business are awesome. I say it every review. The Hurt Business are amazing. I just don't care to see them in programs like this. Like, I really don't. The Hurt Business can be doing so much more. Seriously, this is the Hurt Business, but, oh well, it's a bit of a filler match anyway. So yeah, that was the 6-man tag match they did. Another match they did was Mandy Rose, in her first Raw appearance, she's now in a tag team with Dana Brooke. So they had a tag team match. They beat Lana and Natalya, I believe. So yeah, Mandy Rose in a tag team with Dana Brooke. I guess, I mean, we need tag teams in WWE, even though we don't really need a women's tag division. I don't know. I don't really have any comments. Like, it's Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Who's really caring? Like, I'm sure some stans on Twitter will love this, but I just don't. It doesn't really interest me. I'm sorry about that. So that was that. Also on this show, we had a Raw Women's Championship rematch. So last night at Clash of Champions, we had Asuka defend against Zelina Vega. Fairly predictable match. Asuka retained last night. So tonight, we had a rematch, because after the match last night, Zelina Vega shoved down Asuka. So this match tonight went for like 12 minutes. It went a bit too long for my liking. Like, once again, I get you trying to make Zelina Vega look good, but this is Zelina Vega, and that is Asuka. You know, Asuka should be beating Zelina Vega fairly comprehensively. Like, given just the wealth of in-ring experience. It's the same Asuka who had like a 900-day undefeated streak. Or was it 900 or 700 days, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Asuka with the undefeated streak, with a dominant career, facing Zelina Vega, who's had like 4 matches on TV. So that wasn't the best. The match went like 12 minutes. Asuka retained, as you'd expect. Then afterwards, we got this falling out where Andrade gets in the ring and he has this like argument with Zelina Vega. Andrade saying that he never needed Zelina Vega, that Zelina Vega was holding him down. Andrade's cutting this singles promo, and then he issues an open challenge, because that's the theme of this show, open challenges. So he does the open challenge, then we get Keith Lee coming out. Keith Lee accepts the open challenge and beats Andrade. So I thought that kind of stuff was good. Seeing Keith Lee is never bad, and Keith Lee's just dope. So that's like the main stuff on this show. Outside of that, the other thing that's worth talking about is the King's Court with the Mysterios. Now, this segment's a bit hard to review because it's one of these talk show segments. There's a lot of just back and forth bickering dialogue. We've got Dominic Mysterio, Ray, Aaliyah, Mysterio, Angie, they're all getting their words in, speaking their mind about Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. This whole Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy storyline that they're trying to do, I don't love it myself. It's a bit, I don't know. I'm really on the fence about it. Like, it could be good TV, but I don't love the storyline, the idea of it. It's a bit of a reach for mine, but at the same time, I guess it gets ratings, because Aaliyah Mysterio is a bigger draw than 95% of the roster nowadays. So, yeah, that was that. That segment led to a match between Buddy Murphy and Dominic Mysterio. That match they did between those two guys was good. Buddy Murphy beat him with the roll-up, so yeah, that was good. And then other stuff on this show, we had Kevin Owens defeat Aleister Black by DQ. Aleister Black is a new theme song now, which... why did they get rid of Roode Wwe? It's the Roode Wwe. That song bangs, and I had to get rid of it? Really? Roode Wwe? What was wrong with that song? So, they got rid of that, and then literally the rest of the show, it was just filler, like 24/7 title stuff and whatnot. So, yeah, that's been the show. Overall, I give this show... oh, God. It's Raw, so probably nothing above a C. The show was meh. It wasn't awful. Like, if you're saying this was a terrible Raw, it wasn't terrible. It was just kind of dull. It was your classic 3-hour meh, stock standard filler-filled Raw. So, yeah, overall, I'm going to give this show, like, probably a D, or D plus C, something like that. I don't really know. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, sub, because I know the drill. See ya.